Hello and welcome to the Tech Lunch Podcast, where we encourage our listeners to learn something new about tech every week. This can range from learning about new and exciting tech applications to the advancements in coding and technology. If you are always learning, you will always be a step above the rest. Take the time during lunch or during a break to listen and learn, kind of like a lunch and learn, but for the ears. This podcast will open the listeners' ears to new and exciting technologies they may have not been privy to in the past. These topics will range from manufacturing technologies to data collection technologies and everything in between. Hello, I'm Nick.
Hey, I'm John.
And, we don't have Ed with us this week because he's getting ready for a cybersecurity, event that he's going to be participating in. It's got to get a competition. And when he gets back, we'll have him kind of explain to us the cybersecurity Olympics.
All the hoops he had to jump through and all that.
Right, and all these events he's been doing. He's been doing a lot of them, and we're happy for him. We're proud of him to keep doing that.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Getting older, trying to get smarter.
Cool stuff.
The rest of us are getting older and getting dumber. I guess it's depending on how you go with it.
Give and take.
I think by the end of this year, all three of us will be back in school, which I don't know if that's going to be a good idea.
That's going to be weird. That's a weird thing to say. Yeah,
but it's going to be one of those things. Where we'll still be doing the podcast, we'll still be doing all that stuff. So, we'll still keep everybody informed, and we kind of got some things up our sleeves that we kind of were talking about today. So who knows? You might get some live footage. Hopefully by the end of the year. Us out, dinking around and kind of looking at some new stuff.
If everything lines up, yeah, hopefully.
If not, it'll be a great time to call out of work.
There you go.
Thank God no one listens to
this.
Gonna
be sick next week. I feel a cough coming on.
I got the sniffles. So, this week, we're really going to get into a kind of a topic that's available and open to all of us. It's the build versus buy. We're both taking on a build project, 3D printer build project. And we've both taken on the 3D printer buy project on multiple occasions. And now it's we kind of look at it and go, okay, so what's the benefit versus build versus buy? And what's the price difference between build versus buy? And, plus the different, I guess you'd say options, that you can get. Right now, what do you think?
I think so. I've got a different perspective. I mean, we both bought printers. We both have, I got an Ender 3 Pro. You've got an Ender 5 Pro. I've got we got the project of Vorons. I'm building the baby Voron. You're building like the 0.1, and you're building the 2.4. I think that even though those are still different printers, the core concepts are the same. But I'm going to be very honest with you. If you ask me, starting out printing like as a beginner standpoint, I probably would still lean towards buy, even if I'm like, let's say I want to be a tinkerer, and I'm a hands-on handyman at home. I want to build all these things. Maybe I'm good with working with my hands, and I want to build these things. And I want to use another, like thinking of the 3D printer as a tool, and I want to use another tool. I say buy a full one. Don't build one. Because what's going to end up happening is if you don't fully understand the ins and outs of this, I think that you're going to get yourself kind of backed into a corner of where now you've got a build that's not completed so that you can do another build. If you're using it as a tool to make something else, now you've got yourself stacking projects. And that now not necessarily is a bad thing. It just slows you down. I mean, if you got a time limit to make,
I got to agree with that. I'm big on the buy process. You can buy, but you can buy printers that you still have to put parts together with. Kind of like the Prusa.
There's a little bit of it. But a lot of it's plug and play too.
Yeah, but you can buy the parts for it. So
that's true. That's very true.
But it's not like an Ender. Ender, everything comes in the box. You put it together. You flip a couple switches, and by the end of the afternoon, you're printing. Everything else, not so much. So, if you want to get up and running and getting to, having some fun and really getting into I guess you could say, the additive manufacturing span, then buying is the opportune route. And now, mind you, there's different levels of how much you pay for when you're buying something.
Yep.
You can go from, Ender 3 non-pro for about $100.
Yeah, I mean,
or you get the refurbs like what I got. I picked up 2 of them for $189 total. Mm-hmm. And then you have your Ender 3 Pro, which is
I think right around 200,
about $250.
Yeah,
and then you
that
go
was
to
like 2 years ago too.
Yeah.
That was a
then
while
you go
ago.
to the 5, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of, about $400.
Yeah, I think it's right at that point.
But the thing is, and we do see they skipped 3 and whatever. So, but they had their minis and stuff like that. But then you get like the full enclosures, like that Bamboo now. You know?
The whole point with that enclosure, it's amazing. I think there was another one that was, and had kind of a weird shell around it, but it's it's competing with the Snapmaker for a 3-in-1.
Yeah.
Printer, engraver, CNC machine.
It's like the Utilimaker.
Which, by the way, that's more kind of incentive to go towards the buy. Yeah, it's more expensive, but tool end swaps is really cool. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I saw you doing it today. Like the know-how to kind of get deep into the firmware, the know-how to kind of you're swapping pins or knowing what your pins are reading and things like that. I don't think that anybody kind of starting out is going to know that unless they work with the electronics before. So I suggest. I mean, I bet you'd agree. Buy the printer.
Yes.
However, let's say if someone is 2 years or a year in.
No. The thing is, let me say this before we get too far down that rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. If you're going to buy a printer, buy an Ender first. First and foremost, buy an Ender. Right. Do not go out and buy a Snapmaker, or unless you really, 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 really want one and need one. Okay. Don't go buy a Utilimaker. Mm-hmm. Unless you really, really, really need one. Or for the love of God, don't get a Bamboo. Right off the rip. I'm not saying don't, because honestly, everybody wants a Bamboo.
Yeah,
and they are great printers. Don't get me wrong. Love them to death. I think they're freaking awesome, right? And I think the engineering they did, and I'm trying to get this thing to level out, is like, okay, sorry for the blip, is absolutely insane for a Bamboo.
Yeah.
And I am, but the thing is, I'm starting to think that, for the normal getting started type of printer, for the love of God, please go get you an Ender and learn. Learn about 3D printing. Get into it. Get your hands dirty with it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, it's just...
It's a good brand to get. Creality makes a good printer. There's a reason it's cheap and a reason it's the most bought. It's got the biggest support.
Open source community.
Yeah, it's got the best environment. I mean, probably one of your friends, I bet you, has already gotten at least one because it was number one, the cheapest. It is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, you can say go Prusa too, but which is
well, it's all about disposable income. We by no means should you go use your rent payment to go buy a printer, but by no means. But like if you've got an extra $700 laying around as opposed to $200, $300, and you don't want to tinker as much, you're going to save countless hours buying a Prusa. And at the end of the day, they're very similar in make because Prusa kind of cloned the Ender 3 model and kind of made it his own. At the end of the day, I don't think I would have picked another one to start with because I thought about getting a Prusa to start with, but I think I felt that I was, let's say, I don't want to say like hindering myself from like the making or the tinkering side of the house. I think that it would involve quite a bit less. But then, I've from seeing what he does when a Prusa breaks down, it's almost a complete teardown. Yeah, that to me, like, you think about it, I don't want to tear the whole car down to change my starter. Right. like
I don't need to take an engine apart to take the spark plugs out.
Please,
Sorry.
no. But the ender in those situations, everything is accessible.
Yep.
The screws maybe suck, but they're cheaper. I mean,
you replace them something
you
else.
pay for the quality, right? So like in this case, I think yeah, you think about what the quality of your print is. Maybe what are you printing for is also a good point to think about.
Right. If you're printing diehard like ABS and stuff like that, you have to get an enclosed printer.
Yeah.
However,
so getting an ender is going to be tough.
Unless you get like the Ender 6.
Yeah.
But the thing is for the love of God, don't start, or anything for that matter, don't start printing ABS immediately. Or don't start printing nylon immediately.
Yeah.
Because, you thought it would be fun. That's a great way to end up with a printer in your corner. Never to be used again.
Yeah, because you pretty much you get yourself into such a hole because you're trying to print something that stock pieces. You got a brass nozzle.
Yeah.
You don't have a all metal hot end. You've got a Bowden tube in the center of that heat break.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna expand. It's gonna melt a little bit. That PTFE tubing is not gonna withstand that high temperature for but like a week of constant printing.
Yeah.
So like you're introducing problems.
And with that, it's like I think it's like you definitely have the consumer nail on the head with the enders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's when we go back to your snap makers, your Tula makers, your all like the newer ones that are coming out now, the Bamboo and all that, is if you're a company that's just starting out with this stuff and you don't have the time or the energy or the manpower to add to this process, the Bamboo is great. Mm-hmm. Any of those printers out there that'll do 100% of the stuff for you 100% of the time, great, especially as a company.
Yeah, because if you're like using it in the setting to like rapidly prototype like handles or something like that, they're gonna pump them out in better quality than your standard desktop.
Right, and so so you can play with and learn with.
Yeah. So I mean, Stratasys is another one. Formlabs is another one that some of them might use resin versus PLA or harder filaments, but at the end of the day, like they are getting the same kind of quality out of the print.
Right.
So I mean that's something that maybe we can touch on a different day. If I get, let's say, Anycubic resin and print a Benchy or some type of structure, and then get the equivalent maybe PETG PLA filament, and then do maybe some density testing, maybe some strength testing. That would be a cool thing to see.
Crush testing.
Because Anycubic makes the filament in spools as well as the resin.
Yeah.
So that's something that, like, to me, I would be pretty interested in seeing. They may have something too.
See if they do. It's like the Formlab stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because like there's just so much more in the world that I mean, honestly, we could talk about some of the stuff we've already seen in the innovation. I think it's crazy, but all of that kind of goes into people building their own. So
You're right.
I think when you start trailblazing, like maybe you're trying to solve a problem, which is what most innovation is, right? You're trying to solve a problem that maybe one or a group of people have that nobody's really working on, and you somehow come up with a resin that has two ways of curing instead of just the one, making it tougher.
Yeah, we've seen that online.
That's a chemical, like that needs like a chemist on that, and on the other side, the engineer to get it to actually print and get it to actually like write the CAD coding and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just think that if you're, I know I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole, but I think that if you're going to think about building, I think by that point you should have the basics down pat. And I think that if you don't have the basics down pat, just get a standard, Ender 3 or Ender 5 or something like that.
So, and that's the thing. It's like you got, so when you're buying something, before we jump right into the kit, you got to be $100 to about $1,500-$1,600, roughly.
So you're talking about kit, like whole model price points,
right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, from say $200 to $900, you're in the individual range.
Yeah.
you know, like the home use range,
Personal
use, tabletop stuff, you know, special room stuff. Once you hit $900 and above, you know, you're dealing more of an industrial level, you know, or a business type level where you have a return on your investment that's going to pay that printer off pretty quickly. Unless you just have that type of money to blow to go buy one of these big, you know, these big printers.
Yeah, that's true.
However, that channel changes when you go to the build side of the house.
Yeah, you can. I mean, honestly, you could probably drive price point down. What we looked at it the other day. We call it the fake Prusa. The
Prusa.
The Prusa, because
Feistek.
Because you look at the model and like, okay, I can get extruded aluminum. Okay, that sensor. Okay, I can buy that sensor by itself because all these parts are available online individually. Because at any point you might have a probe break or a motor.
Yeah, it's an open source.
And yeah, so like. Why can't I source my own materials and build it? You absolutely can. It's gonna take a little bit longer. It's gonna take a little bit.
So we take your BOM and your building materials and you go buy a kit.
Yeah.
You know, like what the one from Feistek, you know, that is a kit. That is a Feistek Prusa kit for what, $300?
I think it's closer to 4 now.
Yeah.
Because if you want the size too, and then they want you, that's without the printed pieces. So you like if you're doing it, they see that's another like caveat, another added, you know, piece of what you could think about in a kit. Because like, I mean, both of our experiences, like, I'm not throwing shade, but I think at a certain point you're gonna want to reprint your pieces anyways on your Voron. But
to build another one.
Yeah, or print to build another one. It's the beauty of it. You're printing to build the next one. Like you're making the pieces. Like so, I printed out my models, the entire, majority of the kit. I'm still finishing off the top hat. That's not important for the mechanical like the functionality of the printer. I can get it to work without that. But at the end of the day, I want that piece too because I wanted it to be enclosed. But I have an enclosure that I built for my Ender to print ABS so that I can have these durable parts and build the printer. But I had to do the heat set inserts and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
However, you can buy those online too as a kit.
Mm-hmm.
So but the thing is that like at the end of the day, yeah, there are kits available, but the added like ability to say like, okay, I bought the whole kit, but I snapped this piece that holds my engine in. I can go back to my other printer and then reprint that piece and come back and do it again. That's the beauty of that. But with a standard printer that's built, that's probably a machined metal part. That's not a plastic piece for the most part. I don't honestly. I think the only piece I had on mine was like a scoop vent for the power supply on the bottom and the bottom of the printer that was 3D printed. Everything else is fully like steel or injection molded plastic or something like that. But the ability to print those pieces yourself, I think that's wonderful and can continue your growth. Yeah.
My FormBot 4.2 350.
There's no shame. I mean,
but the thing is then I turned around and I did buy, and sorry again for the blip, I just saw it on the screen. What I did notice is that I did buy my printed parts from Etsy. And I used one of the FormBot suppliers and stuff like that. You know, got a discount on it. But, you know, the thing is, you know, why did I do that? Save myself time. You know,
headache.
So when the printer came in, I already had the frame built and my 3D printed parts were in. So I was able to get to building more, get building quicker, you know, at that speed, you know. But, you know, and I didn't want to take the time to have to build an enclosure, spend money on the enclosure that's going to cost me more than the printed parts to buy. Then I can turn around and buy this printer and get everything done. And then if I want to build like what you have, the Voron, you know, 0.2 now, what's called, is, you know, I print everything off on one bed, and, well, she's done.
That's the thing. Yeah, so for the tiny one, there's not a lot of pieces. There's not as many pieces as I thought.
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, it's quick to print, but to have everything fit so nice and snug. I think that it's nice to have everything going perfect. Like whenever I start and get my kit, to start building immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing. I was printing like a week before I ordered it because I was like, I'm gonna get these parts. But I mean, it's just an added level of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Let's say it shouldn't take away from the overall project, because that Voron is not that the 2.4 is a beast.
Yeah.
So it is not easy to put together. What do they say? 90 hours of install time, and that's straight, not like 90 hours like I take a sleep. No, you're straight building for 90 hours. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, honestly, we can't leave well enough alone. So we put a piece on there, we'll take a piece off, because I can't tell you how many times I've taken the gantry off trying to fit like a cable chain, and I was like, oh, it's not quite perfect. I'm gonna take it off and put it back on again.
Yeah, I took my cable chain off because it was getting in the way of my Y-axis, and now I'm gonna have to either like remove.
Yeah, I had to take some links off.
Or I'm going to have to centralist home.
Oh, okay.
The printer. Yeah. You know, to get rid of that drag chain.
Yeah, and the thing is that was one thing I was worried about on yours, is the drag chain is a bit long. But I think at the end of the day, I saw it moving earlier.
Well, the thing is that the drag chain in the back is not drag chain. No, that's braided tube for vehicles for wire harness.
So you're not gonna put one on there?
I'm not gonna put one on the back now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think mine has one, but it came with already preset connectors, and it's literally not even. I think it's just a foot long.
It's just I don't really care for it. So the chain look. For most of it, people have seen the pictures of mine, which they haven't seen them yet. It's blacked out from top to bottom. There is no secondary color. It's black. Yeah. Right. So, the next one, whenever I do the little baby one, that one will have a flash of color to it. But,
get some color changing.
It might be orange. Yeah. We'll see. Or
That's
blue.
A good one. Yeah, I like that.
Like dark, like some Penn State blue or something like that.
Yeah, I would have preferred that color when I bought my blue, and they said it was deep blue, and it got it, and it's like teal. Like, come on, you guys.
University of North Carolina.
I don't.
Tar Heels.
We're not a part of the Tar Holes. No. We don't claim the dirty feet.
Well, but the thing is,
Go Blue Devils.
Kentucky. But the thing is, it's like that's the fun part about these printers. You can bellyache. Oh, did I get the right color? Did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? But you're continuously changing it. You're not like, oh well, I bought my printer and it was white, or oh, I bought my printer and it was black. Well, you only get two choices.
It adds that that personal touch. Yeah. That this is mine.
Yeah. Now I've seen printers out there, and I know we're digging a rabbit hole, but these kit, and the thing is, this is what makes kit build so much fun. Is I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the guys who did the Star Wars based Voron. It was white with black accents, so it was like a stormtrooper.
Okay.
So it was a stormtrooper Voron with cool. Like blue lights in it and stuff like that. So they kind of were the red lights, and so they had the stormtrooper look to it. But if I did something like that, I'd want to wire up when the drive access moves. It sounds like a lightsaber. Or one.
Yeah, a little speaker in the back.
Right. Just for the fun of it.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Why not just annoy the neighbors? Or to annoy somebody that's.
I'm just saying, if you can do it, or if you're like, hey, I wonder if I can do that. Just go do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Way to go.
Like, come on, just go get it and try it out. Figure out what's going on, and then you can add your own modifications.
That is the way to if you're gonna build something, that's the way to go. Like I don't think, honestly, going forward, will I. But let's actually hit the price point real quick. Okay. Yours was
360.
Mine was about 700 and some change. Okay. So, after all the other stuff I've had to buy, roughly about $850, which is fine. It's still cheaper than a Prusa.
Yeah. There you go.
But, I'm not saying that Joseph Prusa doesn't know what he's doing. But we got guys now that are hanging out with us that have gone from Prusa to building Vorons.
Yeah.
And I really don't think going forward that I'm going to buy a 3D printer ever again. I think it's going to be build at this rate.
Yeah, unless you need to massively expand and produce,
right?
Which it only happens in certain circumstances.
Like if I really wanted to get into, or we ended up expanding and doing some sort of additive manufacturing, then yes, building a print farm, I think would be the best bet using, either Prusas, or freaking, Enders.
Why don't we make the Vorons?
Yeah,
just have
too.
all of them Vorons.
You can do an entire, as long as you're printing something small, you can do an entire print farm with a Voron 0.2, and your entire print farm is all of.
You probably fit on a normal 6, 7, 8 foot wall. You probably get three rows,
3 or 4,
maybe even 4. I think the top hat adds a little bit of extra height.
Does add more to it.
Yeah, so maybe I would say comfortably 3, but then you go wide on a normal 8 foot wall. You're gonna have 20
or 30 of them.
Yeah, that's and they move fast. That Core XY style is in my opinion superior to the standard Cartesian.
I would love to see whenever you get yours done. I want to fire off one of the our lithophanes.
Yeah, see what it looks like,
and see if we can do PLA lithophane on there.
Yeah,
without melting it, because it's in an enclosure.
Well, it could be. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could open the doors of the
enclosure. But the thing is, I've also seen this small little mod about that though. Is a fan that's in there that sucks the what we saw the big one on. Is you put a fan in there that sucks all the air out of the enclosure, cool it to a rate that it will actually print PLA inside the enclosure.
Like a desktop tower fan, because that'd be perfect size. Yeah.
I think only have it turn on if you're printing PLA.
Yeah. Which you can set in your slicer, by the way. Yeah. Well, depending on what slicer, Super Slicer and Prusa, you can set in your slicer what the filament is. So,
but the thing is I think that going forward it's definitely going to be a buy methodology. But definitely want to try that, because then that'll tell me, okay, cool, it's worth it to go ahead and
I think
run because I do like doing these lithophanes for people.
Yeah.
And that's something that we may be bringing to market later. Is custom lithophanes that we kind of see fit that, and
have your family on a little night light or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that's really cool to see and to actually for us to be able to bring those to life. It's something that I didn't think was possible 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different move. Yeah,
so it's pretty cool though. It's very sentimental. Very sentimental.
Yeah, I think we've kind of working down the right path there.
But I do agree with you. I think that if I were to want or looking for a next printer or project, I'm not gonna buy another one unless an outstanding deal, hard to refuse deal, like they say, Prusa $200. All right, okay.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah, I'll do that. But no. I'll
or Bamboo, $400. Sure, why not?
Yeah, but I'll take 3. Yeah, I'll pay. They're like, that's normal price. No. You said 400. I'll take 3 now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll pay that.
I'll buy multiples if it's.
Buy one for that price? No. 3? Yes. But no. At the end of the day, the only one that I would think of buying outright is probably a Bamboo or something that has easily swappable.
Like a floor
print heads, something like that. Honestly, I know Creality does a yearly competition. I think one of the past years or one of the recent years, one of the innovators was, we were talking about CAN bus for the hot end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm running on mine.
But they use that as an advantage so that they can switch tool heads easier.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen
so that. It's pretty cool. But it will change your X gantry mount, but I think that the standard X gantry that comes with the Ender is flawed already. just inherently, because I mean, you've seen it with your CR Touch.
Yeah.
It didn't like that at first. Mine, it didn't like the BL Touch wherever I was trying to mount it. It hated it. So I think that and inherently, yes, it just gets the job done, but it's not optimized. But yeah, no. At the end of the day, I think that I would go for a build. And so it would be the FISEC, Prusa knockoff or another Voron. And I think at the end of the day, it's not solely just because of the fun. Like it at the end of the day, if I said just because it was fun, that would be enough for me.
Yeah.
Because like I'm also the type of person like. I grew up in my family, my grandparents and my uncles and stuff. They would, do puzzles, and they would, save the puzzles, frame the puzzles, and gift them or something like that. And they're everywhere in my house when I was growing up. That's something that kind of stuck with me. So now I just do puzzles because it's kind of soothing and calming.
Yeah, my family did Sudoku and crosswords.
Yeah. Grandpa was doing Sudoku all day. He would ask for help, and he was like, "I don't know, I can't. This was a hard one." But at the end of the day, I digress. I think that. Going towards some of those things is what I would kind of feel for, and doing the builds, it's very satisfying in the process, not just in the completion. The completion is satisfying, but the end goal isn't the only part of it that would be enjoyable.
Fun in this Voron 2.4 build in the same sentence, I probably wouldn't do that.
It'll be fun. It'll be fulfilling.
Fun when it's done.
Fulfilling.
Right, it'll be fulfilling when it's done. We got friends who are completely done with theirs and loving it.
Is Timmy done?
Timmy is not done yet.
I was gonna say that man's
Jeff
moving
is done.
the speed of light if he's done.
Timmy is coming there, but that's one of the, Jeff is one of the reasons why I'm running CAN bus. Just because why not? Something different.
Eventually, you could probably make it a changeable, swappable tool head. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I was looking at the new Clipper, did a Clipper update. When I was looking at some of the new commands, tool head swap is up there now, so they know you're trying to do that.
And I think also it might be kind of fun to take one of those Voron Zeros, the 0.1, and CAN bus it.
Yeah, well, I also think it's going to be fun.
It's only got like a foot and a half of wire anyway, so it's not like a really big deal.
I want to push it. Yeah, it's not that much. It's surprisingly little. I got all of my electrical connections in like one baggie, and I was like, "There's got to be more than this." And they used a transfer board in between the motherboard and the hot end, so there's an extra board in between where my
it's the PCB connector.
Yeah, it's a few more connections, but I was like, man, I feel like I'm missing some cable.
But I think that's the thing about like the FormBot kits.
Yeah,
FormBot, I'm telling you, is up there as some of the best kits out there.
Yeah. I can't remember. There was another one.
The LDO.
Yeah.
LDO are some of your more expensive kits, but they have the most features. And a lot more stuff comes in their kits. Like I got molded injected parts for free.
Yeah.
From them. Which
that's just added that's number one, customer service, and number two, that's just ensuring quality of their printer is like, hey, maybe they don't manufacture the printer, so they're not the ones that must be worried about the creation or the quality of the prints, because at the end of the day, you are the one putting it together, so it's up to the user. But all things aside, everything considered, I think if I give you the perfectly printed pieces and the perfectly fitted pieces, it's also going to contribute to your overall satisfaction in your end product of your printer. So,
and the thing is, like, if people didn't know, I need to go need to 3D print these parts, they've got their parts that they can use.
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't want to have a box sitting in the corner that's like, I had a project, but now I got to buy another thing to do that. It's
like, the big things that I have to print for mine is some of the grating around the outside of it,
skirts and stuff,
and the mounts for the plexiglass.
Yeah.
So, there's that. I haven't thought about if it overlaps enough, pop a couple holes through it and friggin' sink it into a couple of little pieces. Yeah,
that's the beauty. So I just want to kind of complaint on the side to the Voron Zero. Double-sided adhesive tape.
I got that too.
You want me to put my motherboard You want me to put my orange Pi, Raspberry Pi, my power supply, all attached to this acrylic board that's going to be enclosing my heating or my print bed. The print bed gets to 100. The chamber is probably going to get to 60, 70, 80. Your adhesive better be rated higher than all of that. Otherwise, everything's falling off, and I'm going to be upset. Or
like mine comes with a.
You could be smart and you have a DIN rail or some type of rail
that's what mine was, the DIN rail.
Yeah.
If you need small piece of DIN rail, I think I have some in the closet.
I want to see if this. I'm very curious if this adhesive tape can withstand. But at the end of the day, I don't have it enclosed yet, so it's not like it's
I have some DIN rail in the closet if you need it.
Yeah, I'm just worried it's gonna drop and it's gonna pull on the wires, and then I have to resolder something that I didn't want to resolder.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing: a kit build, that is something else that comes out of this, is the ability to either have to buy new things, or getting really good at soldering, or finding friends who can.
Yeah. How about this? This is a great question. So, how there was
I know we're going over time again, but we had a couple blips in there. So.
Oh yeah. So there's a manual that we follow to build our printers. How long is that manual? How long is your manual? Yours is probably longer than mine.
100 and some pages.
Yeah. Mine's getting. I think it's like 80, 90 for the smaller one.
But very in depth though.
It's very in depth. I mean, the pictures could be a little bit better. Maybe give me one more angle. It's just kind of it's a 2D image, and I can't see that backside. And you're telling me to put a screw there. I can't see the whole
front this way.
Yeah, right. It's like help. But at the end of the day, how quickly did you have to variate off of that?
Oh, pretty quick.
Was it? It wasn't 1 for 1.
Well, the thing is the 2.4 is pretty much almost 1-to-1 with what I had until I started doing the hot end, and it was completely different than what they had.
So you added mods before you were finished, really, to be honest.
But and then the kinematic bed was different. The CAN bus is completely different, so I had to deviate pretty quickly. Yeah, for the wiring.
Well, at the end of the day, though, did the motherboard that you got, did it identically match what the Voron said to use?
It was one of their options.
Oh, but it was okay. So in mine, it didn't have. It says SKR or S. I think I'm saying that right. SKR.
Yeah, the SKR.
But it also it didn't. It had the old version of SKR.
Oh,
it didn't have the 3. It had the 2. They gave me the 3. So I'm looking at it. I'm missing power pins. I'm missing things, and so I had to look up an extra pinout board on my MCU unit, or my MCU, so that I could figure out why certain things weren't getting power. So that was one caveat that I was like, I also had to deviate off of that as soon as I finished with the frame. Yeah. As soon as I was done with the frame, I had to deviate, because those parts don't all look the same. Yeah, I had to buy little kits to fill in the pieces that are missing too.
And I think that's some of the other things. Become adamantly familiar if you're gonna do a Voron kit with a multimeter.
Oh
and, a soldering gun. Like I really didn't do a whole lot of soldering before this kit.
It's a lot more than I thought I would need to do on this. Because
I didn't ever think I would need to be doing a lot of soldering. I'm an IT guy.
Yeah.
IT, mechatronics, that type of thing.
They usually come pre-soldered.
Everything usually comes pre-done. Or have suppliers do it for me. So, which is the fun part.
Yeah.
Oops. But so that was an interesting chore. I've realized some tools I've missed. So like I know that I'm gonna have to get the crimpers. Mm-hmm. I know I'm gonna have to get tools to install ferrules. The metal rod ferrules.
Okay, I got you.
For future builds, especially if I want to build something like a Zero or something like that, something quicker that make my life a whole lot simpler. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I could have cut half of my soldering out if I would have the right connectors.
Yeah.
And didn't cheap out on some other things.
You say you cheap out. I think that you cheaped out on some things that you necessarily didn't think were important, but at the end of the day, building a printer, you find out most of it's important.
But once I
necessary, I guess.
Once I get the crimpers and stuff, I'll go back and fix what I've done before.
Yeah, if I didn't have better screws than they sent me, if I didn't have some of the washers, some extra washers that they didn't send me, or extra bolts, then the frame wouldn't have gotten done. If I didn't have extra wires and found some extra connectors, then some of my connections wouldn't have been done. So I think that it sucks. It's like kind of like the opposite of IKEA. You don't end up with extra pieces. You're missing like 1 or 2 pieces when you're done.
Yeah,
but,
unless you got the 2.4 kit, which you got a shit ton of extra stuff.
Oh no, I got extra stuff, just in the wrong.
Yeah, wrong quantities.
Yeah, wrong. I got so many extra of one screw 3x6, and I don't need that one, or 3x8. I don't need that one. I need the 3x6 that I'm running out of. And
the thing is I'll say this is also, if you're going to take on a kit, become adequately familiar with either a label gun or an organizer.
Oh yeah.
And label your stuff out. That's what I did. It saved me so much time because I could just reach up and grab the box I want.
Yeah. Especially if you have breaks.
Slide it back in there and call it good.
Especially if you have breaks between your like, let's say you can only do an hour here, an hour tomorrow, 2 hours the next day. You're gonna misplace some things, because I learned I lost some bearings, and I was like, I absolutely remember having these bearings when I opened the box, and they are completely gone. I just have a bucket that I would throw, or like a bin that I would toss all the bags into whenever I was done. But I noticed, hey, I'm missing these bearings. So that's one thing too, is if you have an organizer, it's going to help you. And
see, I set that up because what I did is, I kind of documented a little bit, so I got some pictures of everything.
Yeah.
Is I did one section of the instructions at a time. So I pulled the bin down I needed. And
yeah, makes sense.
For that one part of instructions, call it a night before, I'm working through the night on a printer and then not going to work next day.
Nah. I can't come into work. I didn't get any sleep. I had to put my printer together.
So it feels like.
Yeah. But we could talk all day on this, man.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of brought us to the end of tonight.
I think we've made our point.
Yeah, I think so. Build versus buy, it's your decision. Definitely, recommend buying to start with, and then go into the build process and have a little bit of fun with it.
Your future self will thank you.
And, y'all, I'll say this. Sorry we didn't get last week. Sometimes we need a break, some stuff going on. A little more hectic than we thought. However, thank you for continuously listening, even though we didn't put anything out. We had a very, very few 0 days on the listening count. So, which I was very happy about. So, y'all keeping this up. Y'all are keeping us wanting to do this a little bit more. Y'all are kind of, pushing us to start striving to reach out there a little bit further, and have a little bit of fun. And so, we are going to be doing some more stuff on YouTube as well. We talked about today, about every 2 weeks, we're going to try to come up with a video. And we're going to start, doing some things called single point lessons, where, we will teach one single point of a 3D printer every single video. Mind you, is that changing your nozzles, or adjusting a piece of your printer, or something like that.
Smart towers, temp tower.
Right. You've seen us put them together, so now it's time for us to show you how to use them, and take care of them and maintain them, and a couple other things. So, but with that, I say thank you. I'm gonna turn it over to John for the parting words and the challenge of the week. So.
All right, guys. Echoing what Nick said. Very appreciative. That's actually news to me. I thought that if we took and missed a week, that time might have kind of lost some of the luster of some of the episodes if you've already listened to them, and then you didn't have anything else to kind of consume in the meantime. But at the end of the day, we life happens pretty fast. It's hard to always prepare for everything, but we have plans in place to kind of, combat that going forward. So, yeah, like you said, single point lessons, I think they're amazing because at the end of the day, they solve a lot of issues that may be common, that maybe might not be common, but that you're kind of struggling with. So, yeah, challenge for the day or the week, I guess I should say. Honestly, we're coming up with a whole bunch of single point lessons that we can do. I guess my challenge to you guys would be what is a single point lesson, or what is something about your printer you want us to kind of take a deep dive on. It doesn't matter if we need to do more, research. I absolutely don't mind doing extra research to find the solution to a problem, but I also got to know where the problem is. So got to kind of know my direction so that I can know how to kind of attack it and move forward. So if you guys have any ideas, maybe any issues that you're having, you want a couple extra hands or a couple extra eyes on, just let us know. Shoot us, email. You got the website,
Yep.
You have our YouTube, all that good stuff. Anywhere you want to put it, we'll see it. So,
and one of these days we'll do a live on YouTube just to kinda keep things going.
Get some questions going and stuff like that. So, once again, thanks guys. We greatly appreciate it, and stay tuned for the next one.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to the Tech at Lunch podcast, where we hope you learned something about tech during your break or during your lunchtime. If you did, please give us a follow to prevent missing future episodes. If you have any ideas or something you want to hear or learn about, please send us a show idea to podcast@vulcanara.com. Hope you have a good rest of the day and continue learning.